Today I want to talk to you guys about fall lawn care. You know, the best defense against having an insect and weed damaged lawn is to have a healthy, dense lawn. Problem is, people worry about their lawn in the spring and the summer a little bit, and they forget about in the fall, and that's when you really need to pay attention. We have 6 tips for you in this video and in this article on A Conquered Carpenter that will put you in that right direction for having that healthy, lush lawn. The first tip is fertilization. You need to understand fertilization. The goal with fertilizing is to promote root growth, really. It's in the fall when the plant starts to shut down, it's storing nutrients. It's still growing as well, and people don't realize that. It may not grow as fast as in the summer or spring, but the roots and the root system is still growing. So we always tell people, think about applying your fertilizer every 6 to 8 weeks throughout the spring and summer, and then right up into through October for fertilization. And when you buy fertilizer, there are 3 numbers on the label. What do those mean? And well, that's important because it stands for 3 things. The 3 numbers. It might be 10-10-10 or 25-5-10. It stands for nitrogen, potassium, and phosphate. The best way to understand it is if you break it down into a simple word game. So instead of seeing the 3 numbers, just think of up, down, and all around. So up stands for the nitrogen, and that's just to promote green leafy growth. Down is the potassium, and that's going to stimulate a strong root system and grow the roots. And then the all around is the phosphate, and that promotes a vigorous growth. It's hardiness and disease and drought resistant type qualities of the lawn. So up, down, all around. And for instance, in say September, early fall, you want to use a high nitrogen formula, say a 20-88, and that's going to push the green leaf up high, and it's going to get a lot of growth going. And then as we get to the end of October into November, end of October really, you want to use something like a high potassium, say a 13-25-12 or something like that, and that's going to stimulate growth. The next thing we want to talk about, we just talked about fertilizer, we talk about seeding. Best time to seed is in the fall. There's 2 ways to seed. You either work on your dead spots. If you got a dog like mine, you work on the pea spots and you just rake up and you seed those spots, or you do your whole lawn, you overseed. And overseeding helps the lawn recover from the heavy use and wear and tear of the summer. So that's a good thing to think about. And the beauty of the fall, doing this stuff in the fall, is you have cooler days and nights so that the soil and the seed stays moist, and it helps it germinate. There's also less competition with weeds. And you want to make sure that when you do seed, that you keep it wet. You keep the soil moist for 7 to 10 days, or at least until those seedlings have germinated to about 2 inches tall. Let's talk about aeration, because if you're going to overseed your lawn, you should aerate first. Aeration usually is done mechanically. You can do it in many different ways, but they take these core plugs right out of the lawn, and it's best done before seeding, but it promotes deep rooting of the grass plants. It allows oxygen, nutrients, fertilizer, water, all of these things to get into the ground and work in with the root system. Better air exchange, better water uptake, reduces compaction, all these great things. So that's aeration. And you might want to do that before you seed, because the seeds will actually get in there as well. Let's talk about removing leaves. A lot of people don't like to rake leaves, but after it's one thing if they're blowing around, but if you have wet leaves that compact on your lawn early on, especially if you have a rainstorm or something that drops them, you're going to choke out your lawn and you're going to reduce sunlight. And this is the time that your lawn needs sunlight in the fall. It's still growing and stimulating its root system. You need that. Mowing. Mowing is important to think about, because you should be mowing your lawn towards the fall, somewhere around 2 to 2.5 inches. In July and August, I'm at 3, sometimes 3.5, because you don't want the lawn to burn. But keeping the lawn lower, again, there's a couple of reasons. It's stimulating the root growth, as well as when the snow does come, you don't have a heavy compaction and trampling of the tall green leaves, which becomes thatch almost. It burns out and dies in the winter. So at the last probably 2 mowings of the fall, you should try to lower your lawnmower to the lowest setting. You don't want to take off more than 2/3 more than a third of the blade of grass, but you want to use the 2 to 2.5 inches of as a guideline. And like I said, it allows the sun to get to the crown of the plants and really stimulates growth. And lastly is weed and insect control. Fall is a great time to do that. It's a time when the weeds are slowing down. If you have broadleaf weeds like dandelions, fall is a great time to apply that. You want to apply your weed killer early to mid-autumn when the temperatures are around 60 degrees Fahrenheit. And also if you have grubs, it's a good time to apply the grub control. So look folks, best defense is a good offense. You have to take these steps. You have to pay attention in the fall. People stop thinking about their lawn, but the fall is the best time to take these 6 steps for a lush, green, and healthy lawn. I'm Rob Robillard. We'll see you next time. Take care.